It's so serious for it being not that serious.
It
You guys
is.
don't see this, but the countdown that starts right before we go live is like 5, 4, 3, 2. It's a silent one. It's always a silent one. Welcome back.
There she goes singing again.
Every time. I
Okay,
know.
do it. Do it. Do it. Do the intro. Give it to
Okay,
him.
you are listening to Madison.
Awful.
It did feel weird. It did feel weird. Welcome back to It's Not That Serious. You guys didn't get to see it, but I got a countdown going for Madison to start this off. And by accident, I flipped her off as the last one.
Rose just started doing that. My 3-year-old.
Oh.
She started doing the middle finger. Yeah, it's great.
What does she do it to?
She doesn't know she's doing the middle finger. She thinks that this is
Oh.
1. So like when she's counting, she's like, this is 3, and this is 2, and this is, well, they can't see, but I'm holding my middle finger up. This is 1. And I'm like, yeah, girl, give it to him. Give him the bird. Stick it to
That's
the
a
man.
fun way
Eat the
to
rich.
count.
Yeah, right? It's a fun number 1.
It is a fun number 1. Keep it spicy. Keep people on their toes. This week we were going to get into a couple heavy hitter topics.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so last week we talked about your burrito video and how all of the angry men came for you. Now we're gonna talk about what video landed on the wrong page for me. I am unfortunately known. Well, actually, you know what? Fortunately known, because I stand 10 toes down on this subject. I am known as the girl who wants her dogs to die. That is what people refer to me as on the TikTok.
What a
Oh, is this the
title.
girl that wants her dogs dead? And at this point, I just say yes, because fuck y'all. You know? Here's some
Puts
context.
a dog emoji. Yes.
Yeah. Yes, with a knife. Like, come on. Speaking of, I watched Night Bitch last night. You gotta watch it if you haven't watched it. If you're a mom, which I assume a lot of you that are listening are, you gotta watch Night Bitch. Just while we're talking about dogs, it reminded me of that. Okay, anyways, the dog video, the big bad dog video. I had a
The
morning
Big
that
Bag
was
Madison video. What are you talking about? Sounds like you're the
yeah.
hater here, player.
The dogs are innocent.
I just want everybody to know I will be here in the dog's defense today so that nobody can come for Madison, okay? I am the dog's attorney.
I had a rough morning, as we all do. Then my dogs were being the shitheads that they are. Love them, but they're annoying. They piss me off almost daily. And what do? I take to my online community. I post about it. I say, at the end of the day, I'm ready when they are. These motherfuckers are pissing me off. You can't be eating your shit. You can't be eating every single bed that we buy you. You can't be barking every time I get the kids down to take a nap. You can't be doing that. I don't want to smell you. I don't want to see your hair. I don't want to hear your nails on the tile. It's all overstimulating. So I make this video and it does well. It goes to the moms, and all the moms are like, fuck yeah. Thank you for saying what we've been saying, but too scared to say online. And then what does TikTok do? TikTok sends it to the dog moms. Okay? And the dog moms come for my throat.
The dog moms
And
take their job seriously, which we appreciate. We appreciate. I need everybody to know right now. Madison agrees with this. We appreciate the dog mom community and what they stand for, and we love that dogs have that space. That being said, there's a lot of people who are dog moms and human moms, and those people's feelings are valid too, and that's who we are now, and that's who we stand
correct.
for, and that's the point of view we are coming from. Proceed.
Correct. And it was truly just wild to have, we talked about how the angry men come for us. This was mostly women. This was
Yeah.
mostly women that were just downright nasty, like telling me I should die, telling me that my kids should die.
I remember you actually sending me an audio note on a Saturday morning saying, I think I'm going to delete the video. And I
Yep.
gave you a pep talk
You did.
not to delete it because the amount of hate you were getting was affecting you so much. And I think I told you to just get offline for the weekend. I'm like,
Yes.
even Monday, Tuesday, take however many days you need, but go dark. I only say that because I want people to know like how much it really affected you. Like it was We
It
joked
was
last
bad.
we joked last weekend about how we don't talk on the weekends, okay? We clocked into our friendship on a Saturday morning because
We
it was
did.
that bad. And people don't talk about that. Like everyone's like, "Oh, you're so lucky your job's on the internet. You just post silly stories." But it's like, "Yeah, well, I post silly stories and I am so lucky and it's so silly, but why do you guys forget that? Like why are
Yeah.
you forgetting that this is a silly story that I'm coming here as my job to make jokes for you?"
Right.
And then you're going to act like I'm so serious. Like I'm just venting so that I can go back
Yes.
to taking care of these dogs and my children and fulfilling the commitment that I had already set out to do.
Right. And my point is valid. Like,
It's so valid.
I'm
It is
sorry,
so
but
valid.
dogs have a shorter life expectancy than humans. If you cannot acknowledge that when your animals go to Rainbow Bridge, that your day-to-day task is going to lighten, then what kind of quality care are you giving them anyways?
Yeah.
What level of care are they getting? Because if you can't acknowledge that that your load is going to lighten, then maybe don't have dogs. And like the
Yeah.
funny thing is that if I had come online and said, I was a dog mom, now I'm a human mom, and I can't take it, I have to rehome my dogs, they would have been just as pissed. They would have been just as mad because how dare you? That was your first baby.
How dare you cause trauma to the dog by rehoming him? Like the amount of things that people, no, I'm serious. Like, and I don't even know what I believe about that. I'm just saying the amount of ways you are trying your best to make every part of your family feel okay and get through the day to day, including your dogs.
Yep.
You are allowed to vent and have big feelings about it. You are allowed to be like, oh my God, it's a lot. And I can't wait until it's not a lot.
Right. 100%.
And people don't need
And
to come for your throat for that. They don't need to be like, oh, well, you don't deserve to have nice things because you are sad about it.
yeah. And the people were stitching the video. It just blew up into this whole obnoxious thing.
Oh, it went
But you're right.
re-viral a couple months later, too.
I was trying to get past it, right? I was like, okay, I've taken a weekend off. It is what it is. I've pissed people off, but like what they think about me, not my business. Whatever. We're going to keep trucking along. And then it resurfaced. And that's when I got pissed. And I said, okay, no, I'm doubling down. I'm doubling down because
Yeah.
screw all of you guys who think that you know, but you don't know
Mm-hmm.
because you're not a human mom yet. I'm sorry, but you don't know. You don't know until you're in it. So I
Mm-hmm.
made a second video because people kept telling me that my dogs are just as important as my children. And I'm sorry, but fuck no, they aren't. My children come first,
Yeah.
period. That doesn't mean I don't love my dogs. It doesn't mean that I'm over here torturing them. That just means that my children come first. In
Yeah.
the hierarchy of my home, my children are first, period.
Fair
And
enough.
so I came back and I doubled down on that. I said, if you are somebody that loves an animal as much as your human children, to me personally, that's problematic. It's problematic. We eat animals.
Yeah, I know.
You can love and respect them, but to say that I should love my children that I grew from scratch and pushed out of my cooter that I had butthole stitches for, to say that I should love them as much as those babies? Absolutely not. I'm sorry, but no. And people are like, yeah, those are your children, but they're not. They're not my children. They're my dogs.
Yeah.
They're quite literally not my children.
What sucks is like we have done great things on coming leaps and bounds on making all creatures, critters, walks of life, I think, better. And that's good. And we could keep doing that. But we don't need to make the family dog equal playing field with your 5-year-old, okay? Like, you don't need to get your dog a popsicle because you got your 5-year-old a popsicle. The same way that
Right.
you don't need to give your kid a popsicle just because you had one in the pantry. Like, sometimes it's okay to draw lines and boundaries, and it's still okay to have a ton of, it's kind of like a dessert belly, okay? I have so much love to give for my children that's never ending, right? It's like,
Right.
it's never going to be ending. But for my dog, there's a limit, dude. Like, it's a
Yeah.
dinner belly. I have a dinner belly when it comes to my dog, okay? Like, there's only so many things you can do because dogs can hurt you. Like, at the end of the
Correct.
day, they are animals. And like, I'm speaking from who has a very temperamental dog. My dog growls at people. My dog growls
Mm-hmm.
at my child. If
Yep.
people know that, that's also not safe. The amount of things you are going through as a parent who with like a special needs dog or whatever to make sure that the dog is thriving and happy and having a good life while also making sure that you're a present and wonderful and amazing mother. And it's not as easy as it seems. And it takes a
Right.
lot of hours out of the day. And if you're not doing that, then you're probably not taking care of your kid or your dog the right way.
Correct.
I have a
Correct. And like,
working dog. I think you have working dogs. Working
I do.
dogs or working breeds mean that they need a job. They,
Yep.
if you don't have, and look up, if you have a working dog and you're like, oh, he's into trouble a lot, go look up your specific dog and how many hours they need to work. How many hours of mental stimulation, because that's what I did when I got Duke. I spent quite literally the first 6 months of his life researching the best ways to train him, to keep his brain busy, to keep him out of trouble, to keep him physically fit. And he is still, at 6 years old, the hardest child I have. I have a
Yeah.
literal puppy behind me right now that we found in a field that is leaps and bounds easier than the dog
Yeah,
that
you're
we
wild.
opted in for. Like, people don't understand sometimes that it's not always like you get the luck of the draw too. Like, you're not always going to get 100% amazing dog no matter how much work you put in. They're
Yeah.
still creatures with their own personalities, and you're still a person with your own set of capabilities, like work, life, family, all these things that take into consideration that people are just like, oh, you're a bad dog owner. Like, no,
Li-
you're just not looking at every angle of this the way I am.
Yes.
And I'm just venting to you.
And people took it so literally. Like,
So
people got
literally.
pissed at the comments. I'm sorry, the comments were fucking hilarious, and I will die on that hill. Like, people said, I remember one comment, she said, I keep telling my senior blind deaf dog to grow to Rainbow Bridge, and she won't go. She won't go. Like,
Have you seen Jen Hamilton's possum video? It's not possum. She's
yes.
talking about her grandma.
Yes.
That's her grandma. But like, people can't joke about their dogs getting
I
old.
know.
Like, that's
I
what's
know.
insane to me is like, we literally joke about family members. We joke about like our friends, like, and you guys will literally put in comments on creators' videos these things. But then we can't joke about your dog getting old and like lessening the load.
Literally, one lady said that her children know and see their chihuahua, their family chihuahua, as a sibling. And she said, I love my dogs and my children equally. I said, imagine for a second your mother telling you that she loves you just as much as the fucking chihuahua. I would have some choice words for my mother, let me tell you that.
I'm pretty sure that was like in a premise of a Hallmark movie that I watched with my mom. Like,
What?
somebody was trying to get like, oh, say hi to your brother, and he looked at a dog, and I'm like, this can't be serious right now.
I mean, it can't be serious because what do you mean?
What do you
And
mean?
I would give my life for my children any day, any
Yes.
time, any day. I would give my life for my children. You think I ever in my life would die for a dog, for an animal, dude? I'm sorry, but no. Who? I wouldn't even give my kidney to my dog because no, I want my kidney, man.
Dude, I literally worked at a large animal vet, so it wasn't dogs, but it was like cows,
Yeah.
sheep, goats, all those things. Like, the amount of money people spend on their dogs,
Hmm.
especially at the end of their life,
To like to
to
keep the
keep
misery
them
going.
alive, to keep the quite literally the misery going, because I'm
Yeah.
working with the vets and they're like, put him down.
Just let them
Put him
go.
down. Like, we can't
Let
say
them go.
that,
Yeah.
but like, nature would let them go. Like, if
Right.
we, like, nature is metal. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but nature is metal. We literally had our gates open for like 5 minutes, and the neighbor's dog got out of their gate, ran into our yard, stole a chicken. We're down a chicken because nature is metal, because they don't care. Like, out in the animal kingdom, your life expectancy, good luck getting old.
Yeah.
we
People
are
said
quite
that too.
literally like we are quite literally making dogs' lives better by doing this, but we're also the ones messing it up because we shouldn't be breeding. We should
Right.
not be making dog breeds, especially ones that need surgeries to exist.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Ah,
people said that too. People kept saying our dogs rely on us for survival, and that's actually not true. If I put
no.
my 5-month-old baby out in my backyard and said have fun, survive, it would
It's,
die.
yeah,
If I put a dog out there and said have fun, survive, it would survive. It might get taken out by nature,
but it would
maybe
survive.
it comes into contact with a fucking coyote, good luck, who wins, you know? But like a child and a dog is not the same.
It's
And
not.
I'm glad that you made me keep that video up, because you know what, it lets people know that they are not alone in those feelings. It is okay to love your dogs and then have a baby and have your priorities change. There's a
Yeah,
quote that says, I loved my dog like a child until I had a child. And then your priorities change. And like people that don't have kids, it's not even a diss at you. I'm one of those people that truly believes if you don't want kids, don't fucking have them. Live
agreed.
your life. But if you don't have kids, you don't understand the intense amount of love that is there. it's
Yeah,
it's it's something that you cannot like put into words until you experience it. And I'm not saying you have to experience it. I'm just saying if you don't, you don't know. So don't come at me when I say fuck my dogs, because I say that every day.
I
Fuck
say
these
it every day.
dogs.
I say it to
And
you every day. You say it to me every day. We be
literally,
telling you, fuck these dogs. And then you know what? We
I
get up and we play with these damn dogs. Okay?
I look at my dogs dead in their eyes and I say, test me. Test me one more fucking time. I'm gonna open that gate and I'm gonna send you on your merry way. Test me, bitch. Like
I told
they
my dog this morning, here you go. This will make you feel better. I told my dog this morning, go lay down. Nobody even wants to look at you. I was so done with his shit. He
yeah,
was
yeah,
growling. He was growling all morning long because the puppy was being a puppy. The puppy wanted to play with him. And
yeah.
Duke can't be bothered. He loves to bother people, but if he's bothered, then he's immediately sent to 10 with his
Mhm.
anger and annoyance. And he's not a snappy dog. He won't snap, but he will be vocal and he'll growl or he'll like talk, like tell you.
Yeah.
And the amount of times I had to literally like put them and separate them, I couldn't. I looked at both of them and I was like, I'm tired of it. You go lay down. Stop being a baby. And you literally, I said that to the baby. Stop being a baby. Go lay down. I said to my big dog, like, I'm tired of looking at you. No one wants to look at you when you act like that. I think I threw that in there. Like I was just talking
Would they
like a
rather?
90s dad. I was so annoyed. And then I walked away for 2 minutes and I got some coffee and I calmed down and I came back and I told them they were good boys. But goddamn, dude, like
Fuck off.
what do you want me to
Shut up.
do?
My Australian Shepherds, they bark at a feather hitting the ground. I kid you not, the fucking leaves fall off the trees and they start losing their goddamn minds. When they start barking and they are all going on their barking spells, and I am already overstimulated by the TV, by the fucking toy dinosaurs that are going off, by the remote cars,
The
and
little
then my dogs
people.
bark. Yeah, like the trash truck outside. Who do you want me to take my rage out on? Do you want me to do it
There
to
you
the
go.
kids?
The dog
Someone's
doesn't
got to get it.
understand. The dog doesn't understand. They look at you with those dumb eyes, just blank in the head, like,
They're like,
so
what?
are you gonna get me more food? Like it's in one ear and out the other floppy other. Like there's no,
Literally,
it's not
they're
going in
fine.
sticking.
They're
I don't
fine.
even,
If
I
I
think he
need to say,
disassociates when I talk. He's looking at
probably.
the moon. Who knows?
Literally, if I need to tell my dogs to shut the fuck up, let me say it and go on with your business. Go on with your business. My dogs are fine. I am not wishing death on them. However, when they do die, my life will be easier. Period. And I also can recognize
She's got a
that
pen. She's pointing at me with a pen,
I
guys.
fucking keep grabbing this pen, bro.
She's serious. It's
We can
not that
also
serious.
we can also recognize that we're in the thick of it, right? Like
Yeah.
you have a 2-year old, I have a 2-year old and a 3-year old. Yeah, I know you also have an older child, but imagine you had two older children. It would be easier to manage the dogs because
Yeah.
they at least can wipe their own ass. They
Oh,
at least
between,
can go,
yeah.
they don't require so much dependency. Right now, these humans need us to literally live, which means the dogs are coming in second. Period.
Yeah.
Actually, third, because I would argue it's my husband, my kids, and then my dog. Or kids and husband, they're pretty equal for me. I think we should treat them both equal. I mean, I know. Okay, that's a whole other subject.
We'll
I
do
know
that
that,
another week. Let me just
like,
let you know, we'll do it another week.
yes, your kids come before you, but you also have to prioritize your marriage, which is fucking hard to do. Okay, yeah, we'll get into that later.
That's a
But
whole other episode. Come back to
the
your
dog,
dogs.
all that to say, the dogs are third, and they're staying third. And by God, if I got a fucking fish, it would be fourth. So
Oh, the
do with that
fish
information what
community
you will.
hates you too. Don't even get us started on that fish community. Madison, you're pissing off the animal rights activists left and right. She's no Steve Irwin, my dudes.
I am not Steve Irwin. When
See her
you
next
told
to
me
a
you were,
cow, though.
I mean, I do want a Highland cow, a miniature Highland cow.
Guess
Yeah,
what?
but
My
don't tell
na-
me you're getting a cow. I will
no,
slap you through the phone.
no. My neighbor asked me though if he could store his cow here if he caught one.
Oh dear God. I need y'all to, when Christina told me she was getting a puppy, I literally said, don't do it. Don't do that. And she's like, it's already done. It's happening. I'm getting another puppy. And I was like, you are fucking crazy, but all right, have fun.
The way Madison, though, she got this information the day after she told me she wants a third child. So, like,
Correct. Correct. That's some sick shit. Why is that? Why is that?
the funniest part is like a week ago, I was like, no, screw dogs. I'm over dogs. I'm never getting another dog again. I don't like dogs. I'm so tired of my dog right now. I don't know how people have two dogs. And you were like, you know what? Maybe we don't have three kids. Maybe we just have two kids. And then a week goes by and I'm like, I'm getting a dog. And you're like, I want a third kid.
It's a roller coaster. It's a roller coaster. How is last night? I was so tapped out. Mondays, I don't know what it is. I think it's because it's the first day, like back to the start of the week, right? Like on the weekends, David's home, I have my husband, and then Monday, it's just me again and the children. And it's like a fucking kick to the teeth back to reality. It's not like we just ease into it. We fucking raw dog the week and we go head first into Monday. And it's just always a long day. It's always a long day. And I'm always so tapped out by 4 o'clock on Monday. And then I had some time to myself. I got the kids to sleep. David's asleep. I'm sitting there by myself. And then I start thinking about my kids and how cute they are and how amazing it is that Rose is at the age where she can like have conversations with me and she's just a whole ass person now. And I'm like, yeah, for sure, one more. And then you wake up and they do some crazy shit and you're like, never mind, fuck that. I'm good with two. And it's
Never mind.
every day. It's every fucking day we're on this roller coaster.
Oh no, I see so many videos where it's like, how do you know when you're done? And I'm like, I have always known when I was done. She came out and I said, I got my child. I'm done.
And you're done.
Quite literally. Like I was so like I have a whole journal from the time I found out I was pregnant up till now, basically. I plan to keep it until Layla's 18 and just
I love
write in
that.
it whenever I remember. But I I always wanted her to know that she is so wanted. I have wanted nothing more than to be a mom. I wanted nothing more than to experience this. I wanted nothing more than like that soul
Yeah.
to enter and to love. And it was like the second she got here, I felt whole. I felt complete. I felt like everybody I was meant to like love in that
Mother.
capacity was
Yeah.
here. And I
Yeah.
was like, I'm good. And I went through, I think, a 2-month period where I played with the idea. But it was all just because I think society was like pressuring me into thinking like
Of course.
People see like how I am with her out in the wild, and they tell me I'm a good mom, and then they ask me if I want more, and I just say no so confidently, and then they kind of put a pressure on me like,
They do.
you're good at it, you should have more. And I'm like, no, I'm good at it because I have one. Like, I need you. I am so blunt and honest with what I come at people with. I'm like, no, this is why I'm good at it, because
Yeah.
I know my capabilities, and it's one, and she's
It's one.
great. She's great. And
Yeah.
I say that not discounting my son. I say that as his dad and his mom did the first 5 years. They did that. That's the
Right.
hard part, right? Like, that is the thick of
That's the
parenting.
thick.
That is
Mm-hmm.
the thick of it. I am never going to discredit that by saying, like, I was, like, I know when I came in, it was at school age, and coming in at school age, I'm not discrediting how hard it was. I'm just saying it's a completely
It's
different
different.
field. I now
Mm-hmm.
know how hard it is to go through I'm only about to hit year 3. I know how hard it was.
Oh God, it
Like,
is hard. It's very hard. It's
and you have
weird.
to do that over and over. Every single kid, you are starting back at that. And that means
Truly.
your marriage is starting back at that new raw foundation. Like, that took me for a loop.
Yeah.
Like, every single time you go through a big life change by adding another life into your family, everybody's boat gets rocked,
Yeah. And
and
you
you got
gotta
to adjust
readjust. Mm-hmm. You
to
do.
keep navigating them waters.
You do. And, the mental load that comes with one child, and then two, and then three, and it just,
Dogs in your marriage and all of
right, it
it, all
doesn't
of it.
stop. And then you see online all the things you're supposed to do. Like, okay, you're supposed to make time for your partner. You're supposed to initiate things with your partner. You're supposed to take time for yourself. You're
Self-care.
supposed to, yeah, yeah, you're supposed to take a shower every day and make sure you make time for yourself and make sure that you're pouring from a full cup.
You're
Yeah,
supposed to be eating all of your
mm,
meals and also cooking meals for everyone,
yeah.
and not
And that's,
relying on the screen too much, but
yeah,
also
and
not leaving out the
it's,
screen because we don't want them to be weird.
I would die without screen time, and I stand on that. I stand on business
Oh,
when I say that.
my screen is a tool for sure.
Absolutely. Miss Rachel is, she's my wife. She's Me and my husband are in a throuple with Miss Rachel. And unfortunately, Blippy is a part of that party. I wish he wasn't, but he fucking is. He's there and he's not going anywhere. My kids love him. But the mental load. The mental load is everything that happens that doesn't get noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We as moms stock the pantry, stock the fridge, make sure that we have toilet paper, make sure that we have paper towels, we clean, we cook. And this is not saying that dads don't do that. I'm not saying that at all. These are just the things that happen behind the scenes. That's not as visually right in your face as someone getting up and going to work. It's like all these things move behind the scenes, and then on top of all of that, you want us to feed ourselves three meals a day, and you want us to drink water, and you want us to shower. I don't It's not that I don't want to shower. I don't have the fucking energy. I don't have the energy. I just want to go sit down at the end of the day.
What content creation has done, I don't know if it's done it for you, but what it's done for me is realizing how much time editing takes and how
Yeah.
much time people are putting into creating content for
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
When you add in all of these normal things and then you throw in the fact that these moms are coming on TikTok, because a lot of moms have found a big space on TikTok, right?
Right.
Or in content creation, where you can also add to your mental load
Yeah.
by posting publicly to hundreds, thousands, potentially millions of strangers to also weigh in on their opinions on what you're doing. even though
Mm-hmm.
they're only getting glimpses of your life without the whole picture. And that has made me realize how I consume content and how I
Yep.
take everything now with a grain of salt, like all media that I come into. Like
Yes.
even movies I don't like, I'm like, well, someone really put a lot of energy into that editing. You know,
You're
like
just a
I'm
total empath
just
now.
such a mom about everything now. I'm like, well, that was not a good idea, but I love the production value, you know, like, but when you take the time, what I'm saying is what motherhood taught me, what the mental load, my mental load has taught me, has to actually step out of my shoes whenever I get frustrated and step into other people's shoes and realize like why they are feeling all those big feelings. I'm like, other people's big feelings used to really overwhelm me. And having my own mental load in motherhood made me realize that it's the fact that nobody knows how to hold space for each other,
Yeah.
right? Like everybody's dealing with a lot, right? You are dealing with a lot. Your husband's dealing with a lot. And you don't want to burden each other by letting the other one know what the mental load that you're dealing with, right? Because you
Yeah,
both
because
have a full plate. And so when you
it
come
feels like
to each other,
complaining.
yeah, when you come to each other, it feels like a nag instead of like a, hey, I know that we can't do anything about this right now, but I got to talk to you about it because it sucks.
Yeah.
And I think that that's where the gap is, right? We're not sitting here comparing. Everyone's, you know, to some capacity working and parenting and doing as much as they can, as even as they can, whatever that looks like for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the hard part is coming to this spot and realizing because we're now validating our kids' feelings, we're kind of validating our own, but we're having a hard time validating our partners because we're like, well, aren't you seeing everything I'm doing? Like,
Yeah.
and it's because we're sitting here trying to be everything for everyone and validate and show, you know, everyone that we can do all these things. And it's not attainable. And we
No,
all
it's not.
agree that it's not attainable, but we can't jump off this rat race and we can't change the society. Like we have to
Yeah.
all collectively realize that we're just running at 100 miles an hour in order for us to all collectively start slowing down. But when we're
Yes.
all realizing it at different times, because that's what's happening, we're all realizing it, but it's only at different times. And then we get back into the, well, we have to commit to the bit of the rat race. Like, it's hard to see, it's hard to hear, it's hard to empathize with, you know, it's hard to keep looking at your partner and being like, yeah, we're in it together, and finding the energy to keep making it positive because we're all being pushed down by life. Like
Oh, we are.
all of our
We
mental
are.
loads are too much. We shouldn't be the house cleaner and the feelings taker and the teacher and the worker. Like it shouldn't be that way, but it is. And we're trying to navigate a normalcy around it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one, it's insane. But two, it's hard because it's not possible because it is
It's
insane.
it is. It is. And there's a lot of accounts specifically that talk about how your husband needs to be like an active father, right? He should, I don't know, he should know what size diapers they're wearing. He should get home and cook food too. He should pack his lunch. He should blah, blah, blah. And I think we get so wrapped up in the he should, she should, that it's like, take a pause for a second. What works for you? What works for your household? Like, you know, it's, you're when you're so isolated in motherhood and then you come online to try to look for advice or a safe space and you see all of this like this
You
huge
should, you should,
push.
you
Yeah,
should.
it's
Yeah.
it starts to feel like, wait, am I doing it wrong? And it could potentially be problematic. You could be creating a problem that
Doesn't
maybe
exist.
doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
If at the end of the day we're all just trying to be a well oiled machine, right? We got to
Yeah.
truck along the thick of it and do what keeps both of our heads above water. It doesn't mean that sometimes the water's gonna be right there. It's gonna be like,
The water's
Jack.
sloshing around your nose, okay? Sometimes it's sloshing around your nose and you want to breathe out your
Yeah.
mouth, but you got to
There's
wait for that wave to go by.
yep, you are Jack and your partner is Rose, and you're like, make some room, bitch. You know, like let me
It's
up,
like
let
neither of
me.
you are having the best time, but at least one of you's on the door.
Yeah, literally. And sometimes that's just the way it is. And it doesn't mean that it's broken. It doesn't mean that there needs to be this huge shift in the way that you run your household. It could simply mean a conversation.
Yes.
It could mean, hey, I recognize everything you're doing. I recognize everything you're doing. Okay. You
Yeah.
know?
The amount
Like,
of times, like, I think some of the best, I'm not going to say advice I got because I didn't get it anywhere, but like I listened to a lot of podcasts. So some of the
yeah.
advice I've taken over the years of listening to other intelligent people is, I went blank so fast. The bird flew by and I just was like, oh, look at that.
Squirrel.
Yeah, like, oh, I really lost it, man.
It's
I was
gone.
so,
It's
I was
gone.
so
You're about to
sad.
drop some knowledge on
I
us, dude. You're gonna give us the
was.
best advice.
God, I know. I felt it at the tip of my tongue. And then
It's
that bird
gone,
just
eh?
said, caca. And I was like, ha ha. And it's gone. But you know
I
what? It's not
Yeah.
that serious. And that's what you're
It's
going to
not
get
that
here.
serious. You were probably gonna say something along the lines of
A
like,
thank you
"Why?"
goes a long way. A
Oh,
thank
there
you
you
goes a
go.
long way. One of the best marriage or relationship advice I ever got was like, whenever you're feeling a little overwhelmed, like, why aren't they seeing everything I'm doing? You kind of get in the I mentality. It was a
Yeah.
therapist that was talking about it. Whenever you get in the I mentality, you start to think about all the stuff you're doing right. But in turn, you start thinking about everything they're doing, quote, wrong, which isn't
Uh-huh.
necessarily right. And what you need to do is stop thinking about I and start thinking about, put yourself as their I. Like, what is it that they're walking around saying to you? And so whenever I start to get a little like too in my own head about like, I need some help around here, I start,
Yeah.
walking around and I think I have to get up every day and make sure I'm making enough money that we can support all of the heartbeats that are living in this house
Yeah.
and on this farm. I have to get up every day and deal with grown men who do not listen to me and
Yeah.
hope that I don't lose my temper on them because this is annoying that grown men don't listen to me. I have to get up every day and work, outside in the
Physical
elements
labor.
with
Yeah.
physical labor that doesn't feel good. And I'm missing the morning with my wife and children, and I don't see them until the evening.
Mm-hmm.
And they darn excited to see me because they just want mom when I get. When you
Perspective.
stop for a second and you think about all of the hardships your partner is going through, you immediately start to go like, wow,
They're showing up too.
they're showing up to their best capability. They're
Yeah.
showing up so hard for you consistently. And sometimes it's just realizing that your partner is being consistent constantly
Mm-hmm.
in
Yeah.
whatever they're doing. The fact that they're able to get up and go to work every day, the fact that they're able to, they come home and they're like, oh, my body hurts, but they still work through the pain. You know that maybe they're not the best at saying how they're feeling, so they're harboring some feelings that is weighing on them.
Yeah.
When you stop and you sit in your partner's eyes for a minute, if you
I
will,
like that.
you
Mm-hmm.
really realize how much you're both doing, how much you both have a mental load that you're both trying to not burden the other person with.
Yeah.
And that's when you really that's at least for me, when I really get a big piece of
No,
humble
I
pie
love that.
and I'm
I
like,
love
all
that.
right, well, I got to have coffee while I dealt with a toddler tantrum, like, and it's not going to work 100% of the time. Like when my
Right.
kid's screaming for the 45 minutes because she's unwell, because she's 2 and she doesn't understand big feelings, because sometimes it's just hard and they're going through a growth spurt or she's getting a molar or whatever. I'm not discounting my hard because it's
Yes.
still hard. I'm just saying we are both showing up to our prospective jobs. We're both putting in the hours of hard and we're
Yep.
both coming together at the end of the day with what's left and we're trying our best. And that's what matters.
I 100% agree. That's great advice, Christina.
We got
I
there. The bird distracted me, but
No,
we
that
got back.
is it's such good advice because I feel I appreciate what the online space is doing because here's the thing. I think I can speak for you here too. We're not saying if your husband is a fucking bump on a log, then screw that. Like we're not saying
If you
let your
got one of
husband
those
come
dudes
home.
that's expecting dinner every night, not looking at what happened during the day, not able to come
Yeah.
home and assess the situation at hand, we're not
Yeah.
talking to you people. We're talking about the
We're
everyday normal.
Yeah, we're talking about
Regular
the
married
regular.
class. We're talking about the regular married class people that's
Correct.
doing their best, that's putting in the
Correct.
work, that's putting in the hours to hopefully go the 50 plus years that we're all dreaming of. Like,
Yeah, that would be great. That would be great.
that's
A
what we're
hundred
all
years.
talking
Yeah.
about.
I
100.
just, yeah, me and
So,
David say we want to live that long. I don't want to be without him. It's sad.
you want to
Yeah.
live 100 years? Me and Taylor are
Yeah.
like, I'm tapping in when our soul spirits, my dude. Like, can't wait to see you on the other side.
Oh
It's gonna
God,
be
I
less
can't.
anxious over there.
Yeah, it probably will be. It probably will be. But I mean, I just that we're not talking about that, right? Like there are some POSs out there that are taking advantage of their wives and probably vice versa, but
There's people
we're
that
too.
need to open up their eyes to red flags. That's not this
Yeah.
podcast. We're talking about the
Yeah.
everyday people that are just
Yeah. And
doing it.
I feel like that it was good for me to hear you say that. I hope it's good for the people listening to hear that, because while I can appreciate what the online space is doing, right? We're making it aware that the mental load of moms is fucking hard. It's a
Hmm.
lot. It's a lot to deal with. But I think that there is a touch of that comparison bias that starts to happen. And you start questioning, oh, should he be doing more? Should I be able to, like go get my nails done
I feel like
every 3 weeks,
any good intentioned cause, there's always a limit, right? And we've
Yeah.
already hit the limit. Now people are getting a little bit crazy. Like they're just
Yes.
being like, don't be selfish. Like you're allowed to
Yeah.
say like the mental load of motherhood is hard. You're not
Yeah.
allowed to say though that your mental load is harder than your partner's.
Yeah. No.
That's the hill I'm going to stand on. And
Yeah. I
I
agree.
have many reasons for that. We can talk about that another week, but I think we've dived so far in trying to help uplift the women's, mental health space, which is amazing, that we've almost pushed the men's mental health space down. And look, it wasn't
Mhm.
in a good spot to begin with.
Yes.
When you're kicking someone when they're down, it's going to get angry fast. And so
Yeah.
I always want to make sure that like I'm tapping into not only the men's mental health space for my husband, but for my son and the future
Right.
youth of dudes. Because if we keep sitting here and keep ironing down the fact that moms are doing all these things without acknowledging that dads or men or boys are also, having their own loads. And part of
Yep.
that load is not feeling like they can talk about it. That
Yeah. They
is
gotta
part
suck it
of their
up.
load. Like, I'm sorry,
Hmm.
but, or the only time they do talk about it is when it gets to the point where they can't keep it in anymore. And
Right.
that's not okay either. We have to give them the space to also feel like they can have their feelings and have them in a big way and tell them it's okay. It's hard and it sucks. But it's not a
Basically,
comparison game. It's
yeah.
just I don't know, the way I see it is everybody has hard. You just have to pick your hard.
Millennials are going as far to say we kind of want the opposite for our sons, right? Like we want
Yeah.
you to be able to cry when you fall and scrape your knee, bud. Like that shit
Yeah.
sucks. We want to create a space where it's okay for you to have your feelings. It
It's okay to
is.
get frustrated but
Mhm.
do it in a healthy way. It's okay to be sad but do it in a healthy way. We want to create
Yes.
this space for both boys and girls, and I think
Yeah.
by taking out the mental load of motherhood and just saying the mental load,
Hmm.
just thinking about it as your mental load and your partner's mental load and trying to constantly step out of yours and look at theirs in order to keep coming together and realize you both got a full load.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to dump
It's
that load, my dude.
it's
Sometimes you just
yeah.
got to go to the potty and dump a load, and that's
Dump
called
it.
vacation.
Yeah, it's
Without children.
different. Yeah, it comes down, it's a respect thing, right? As I think that is the foundation of a partnership, of a marriage. I think if you have respect for each other and you can acknowledge everything that the other person is doing, then how you run your ship is none of my business.
Exactly.
And I
I
think that's
I
what needs to
love
be taken.
I love when people just shock you. Like I love people who are making sourdough bread and voting for women's rights. Like I love
Yeah.
someone who's growing their own food
Yeah.
and speaking their mind. Like you can have oxymorons in your life. Like you can be a traditional goddess and still not be treated like traditionally they were.
You've gotten some heat. I feel like for packing Taylor's lunch, right?
I
Or
have
am I
not,
imagining
because I
that?
don't tell people that.
Oh, sorry. We can
Oh,
cut
I
that out
don't
if you want.
care. I'm just saying, like,
Okay.
I purposefully know that I would get hate if I ever did like oh, pack my husband's lunch with me. And I
You
don't
would.
ever try to I never tried to gain traction out of like a clickbaity type
Yeah. Yeah.
start. I just want you to think I'm so funny you can't look away. And if I can't, like, I don't need you to be mad at
Yeah.
me because I made my husband a freaking French bed pizza at 4 a.m.
That's the part that gets problematic. It gets to a point where we see a spouse, a wife, doing something for her husband,
That
and
they wouldn't do themselves. And they
it turns into,
consider that to be like
yep,
a problem. And it's like, no,
yeah.
we're all allowed to run our own households the way we want.
Yeah. Now, if it is a problem, don't fucking do it. And I'm not
Yeah.
telling you to do it.
Yeah, no, I am not
Just let
telling
me do it if I
anyone.
want.
Here's the thing. I tried to get this man to eat lunch for years. He just wouldn't eat during the day,
Bro,
okay?
David doesn't
He,
eat lunch
like,
either.
if he doesn't have, if he didn't have the money to go out to eat and then he didn't want to eat out all the time, or he doesn't always have access to go eat out and he just wouldn't eat. And then I said, what if I made your lunch for you? Would you eat it? And he said, yeah. Here's the thing. If I forget to make his lunch, he doesn't go, well, you didn't make my lunch today. He just goes, he just leaves for work. And then
Yeah,
that's it. And then
that's it.
nothing ever comes of it. He doesn't ask me. He doesn't say anything. He asks me how I'm doing. Like, you didn't wake up like you normally do. Are you okay?
Yeah,
He's just a caring person. That's what partnership is looking
yeah,
at what your partner needs. And if it's something you can help them with, fulfilling that need.
yeah.
That's all it is. It's
And if
quite
you don't
honestly all
want
partners.
to,
Don't do it.
don't do it. But just don't get so mad at the ones that are doing it. You don't
Oh my
have to. You
God.
don't have to be mad.
You know who my favorite content creators are? Or the
Yeah.
women who are getting up at 3 a.m. and making their husbands these gourmet breakfasts and lunches.
Dude,
I'm like, can I
dude,
marry you?
insane.
I'm getting recipe
Literally.
ideas. And honestly, the way I think about it, especially if they don't have kids, one of the most idyllic times in the world would be wake up at 4 a.m., make some good food that I could eat later on, and then go back to bed, edit my
Right
little
on.
videos in bed when I wake up, and there's already food ready for me. My man ate today. He's
Yeah.
happy. You're just mad, bro. You're mad that you're
Yeah.
not living that girl's life. Like,
People are mad.
you're mad
People
that
are
that's not
mad.
your wife. Like, God, stop being so
It's
bitter.
not that serious, people. It's not that fucking serious.
And it all comes down to that.
We're gonna start a new thing every episode because therapy is too expensive, right? So we're
Yeah.
gonna be your unlicensed therapist. Therapist Thursdays. We'll
Basically, I'm going to just keep rattling off, no matter what the birds do behind me, advice you didn't ask for.
Yeah. So we will open it up for next week. This week, if you are following me, I have a series on my page called Monster in Law, and I'm going to share one of the stories with Christina just so we can get her reaction in real time because I think it'd be fucking funny.
Nice.
And we have different birth experiences, so I'm interested what your take is on this.
Ooh.
Okay.
Now you guys are I'm getting hyped along with them. I'm like, this is exciting. This is what
All
we're
right.
doing Thursday?
Yeah, are you ready?
Oh, we're doing it right now? You're telling me right
Yeah,
now?
I'm going to tell you right now. I have one picked out to tell you.
Oh my God.
Are you
Okay.
ready?
I'm
Okay, here we go.
nervous. Let's
All
go.
right. Get ready. My monster-in-law told me I was taking the easy way out after scheduling my C-section for baby number 2. Mind you, after having an emergency section with my first pregnancy, I found out that the chances of me ever delivering vaginally were slim to none. How do you feel about that?
I don't care.
No?
I had a C-section. I don't
That's what I'm
care.
saying.
Here's the thing is I am the least bothered person on this planet. Okay? That's the problem is I can't be bothered. You don't think that I put in the same amount of work because it was cut out of me? They literally took my organs out, bro. They
Yeah, that made
literally
me
said
mad.
in a pinch, they said either you die, the baby dies, or both dies. Do you want to go get this baby out of you or do you want to die? And I was like looking at my husband after 33 hours of trying to push a baby out. And you know what they said when they cut that baby out of me and all of my organs were in a bag and they're walking my husband in because they didn't have time to wait for him to completely be in the room before they started this process? The doctor said that baby was not engaged in labor. She broke my water, bro. I don't care. I don't care if your birth story is different than mine. We all were traumatized, okay?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
care. If you really want to die on the hill that you're tougher because you pushed it out of your cooter, be my guest. Be my guest. There are bigger problems in my pants to worry about.
In your pants. God, what's happening?
Oh, I didn't mean that. I just mean a problem on my plate. I mean, like on my plate. In my pockets? What was I trying to say? That sounds horrible.
You got
Maybe.
those. Did you get postpartum hemorrhoids, or did you not experience that?
No,
Your
you know what?
C-section.
Actually, here's the thing is I had never had major surgery. So my first major, I mean, I had my teeth taken out before, my wisdom teeth, but like
Yeah.
I never had major surgery. So that was like my first major surgery was them cutting a baby out of me. And the
Wild.
only thing I kept thinking about the whole time was like, I can pee without pain. This is nice. I was so worried the whole pregnancy that it was going to hurt the first time I had to go pee or poop. And I didn't have that problem because I just was cut at my abdomen.
Oh my God, you lucky dog. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess I won't call you a lucky
Here's the
dog
other thing
because
though is I quite honestly walked my dog 2 miles a day up until the day she was born. So
okay.
I was in decent shape. Like I
Yeah.
walked a bloodhound. So I think that helped with my recovery too. Like I didn't have a bad C-section.
Okay, well, you're just an unbothered queen.
What would
I
you
that
say though to that?
I mean, it pissed me off because I didn't have a C-section, right? Not with number 1 or number 2. And I know people in my life that have had C-sections, and I watch their recovery, and I just am in awe. It was hard for me to be obviously tending to a newborn with stitches in my downstairs. Like, I can't imagine having that big of a post surgery
The people can't see
incision
us. Do you want to see mine?
and still having to take care of a newborn. That's wild. So when people have the audacity to say that's the easy way out, that gets me hot and bothered, dude. I need to be more unbothered, I guess. Because
It
yeah, it
doesn't,
pissed me
I don't
off.
know. It doesn't, I don't, part of me is because maybe I didn't have the other experience. And maybe
Yeah.
because mine was so easy, I was like, maybe it is the easy way out. Maybe they're right. Maybe they're on to
Yeah.
something. I don't actually feel that.
Um,
But I'm just saying, like,
yeah.
that's the way my mind goes. I'm like, if you want to die on that hill, like, okay.
R.I.P.
I don't really care. I'm not here to compare pain.
Yeah, I think it's a weird take, especially
It is a weird
from a
take from a
mother-in-law.
mom. If a dude
Yeah.
said it, I think it would be really funny.
Yeah.
I think I
If
would
a dude
honestly
said
laugh.
anything, if a dude
Yeah.
said anything about birth, I would just laugh in their face.
Here's the thing is like there's a lot of these monster-in-law stories that get me hot and bothered, so I was really getting ready for one.
Or oh,
But
I see, I see.
like the bath time one got me bothered.
Oh, dude.
That I have big feelings about. But like someone here's the thing, someone comparing pain, I don't know. I've been hurt so many times, I don't care.
You're like, if you truly want to believe that my surgery to get my baby out of me is the easy way out, then fuck you. Whatever.
Honestly, in my mind, it was. I was like, yeah, it
That
wasn't too
just
bad. It
uh,
wasn't the worst. She's
you
here. I didn't have to pee with pain. I don't disagree with you, dog. And I'm not gonna
yeah.
go test the theory in other ways. So I don't know. You want to die on that hill? You could be arguing with yourself.
There's a interview with Mike Tyson where the interview guy asks Mike Tyson, "What do you wish more people understood about you?" And Mike Tyson says, "Nothing. Fuck you."
That's
That is
literally my
Christina.
attitude.
That is Christina to a T. You
Because
are
here's the thing is people I have realized that people are so determined to misunderstand what they don't want to understand. And you know
yes.
what I'm not going to argue with?
Stupid.
Stupidity.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. I don't care.
All right, and on that note,
And on that note, leave us your suggestions. It will be posted on the Instagram this week. If you missed the Instagram stories submission box, you can just contact us in our email, which is in our Instagram bio under like the
yes.
contact us. And so I
Yes.
was going to tell you our email, but I don't know it exactly without. I got to look at it because look at some of the pages needed an underscore in order for us to get it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. We don't remember what has an underscore and what doesn't have an underscore at this point, but
Let's
you will be able to contact us. You can send us what you need advice on, like we're your two big sisters, or you can send
Send
us a crazy
something that's going to
story.
make Madison mad. Just send something that's going
Yeah.
to give her big feelings and that's going to make me so unbothered that Madison's going to be like, what?
Literally, I'm going to be pissed off, and then Christina is going to come in with the fire extinguisher and relax all of us down. And she's going to be like, dude, zen, relax. It's not that serious. I'm going to be like, fuck, that's bullshit.
Well, that's
You're
because
going to
that's
be
how
like,
we are. That's how we feel.
literally,
That's honestly how I feel inside about everything. I feel that
yeah,
big
you
feeling of
are.
like, fuck that. But then I'm like, but we're on a floating rock in space and it's truly not that serious. And I always come back to that.
You are the calm to my storm and your own storm.
I'm out here calming storms. Look at us go. All right, we got to get
Look
out of
at you
here.
go. All right, yeah, that's it. Okay, peace out.